Got an electric Browns mock draft on today's show that I think you're going to love. I didn't think this would be possible, but the latest mock draft from The Athletic has 2 first-round selections for the Cleveland Browns that I am gushing over. We'll see what you guys think as well. I'm your host, Joey O'Donoghue. Welcome into the Browns Report, and it is officially the offseason in the NFL. So that's why you should hit that subscribe button, because this is where it gears up. This might be the craziest offseason in Browns history, folks. I'm going to have the latest news, rumors, and reports for you every single day. NFL free agency coverage. Can we make some big splashes? NFL draft content just like this. The Combine's coming up. Tell you who Cleveland should be taking, who they should be looking at. Latest trade buzz as well. You know Andrew Barry's an aggressive GM. When he makes a trade, I'm going to have a video for you guys and trade rumors leading up to it. And as always, this is an interactive show. I want to hear from you guys every time I do a video. I like to get your opinions in the comment section so that it's a community feel. So hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, I'm going to show you the top 5 picks in the mock draft from The Athletic just before Cleveland's selection. So who you know is not available. Mendoza, obviously, every mock draft has him going first overall. Arvell Reese, Ohio State Buckeye, goes 2 to the Jets. Spencer Fano, this is interesting. I told you guys in the past that some experts have Fano going first as the first offensive lineman off the board. This one, the Cardinals take him at 3. Ruben Bain falls to 4 to Tennessee, and then another Ohio State guy, Carnell Tate, wide receiver, to the New York Giants. And so with the 6th overall pick in the NFL draft, the Browns get to select Francis Mauigoa, tackle out of Miami. I've always been in on this. I've always been in on taking offensive line, whoever's available. But I love the idea that Mauigoa actually falls. I think he is the safer option here in terms of offensive linemen. They're both very talented, but I would love Mauigoa going to Cleveland. Here is what Nick Baumgardner, the Athletic reporter, had to say about this selection. It's another Hurricanes prospect who solidified his status as a top 10 pick during the college football playoff. Mauigoa was a 3-year warrior and culture setter for Miami. He is exactly the kind of player Cleveland needs. And you're telling me that? I like what I'm hearing. I think he's a true mauler. You watch the film, the way he just shoves guys, throws guys around, I like his style. He's tough. Low floor is kind of what I'm getting at here, right? I think he's a safe pick. Love watching him in the run game. His pass blocking is actually pretty phenomenal as well. He's 6'6", 315 pounds, and so I think this could really help Cleveland fix the offensive line, and that should be their biggest priority here in the NFL draft. Now, you might want to even move him to guard. I feel like he does have the ability to play right guard or left guard, and the thing with Cleveland is we need every single position on the offensive line. I'm not kidding. We're probably going to need a center, too. Posick tore his Achilles last year and is a free agent now. Like, we literally need go every 5 positions on the offensive line. We need each one. So you take the best available. Mauigoa is the best available in this mock draft. It might even be the best in the entire class. I mean, take a look at some of the PFF grades that Mauigoa had last season. Overall, 83.6. Pass blocking, 87. It's exactly what we need. We need time to throw here for our quarterback. You know, it's not solidified who our QB is going to be. A lot of people think Shedeur will get the nod again. I'm with that. Watson's in this mix too. People think they're going to add in free agency in the draft. Listen, whoever it is, you need time to throw. You saw how much that hurt us this year was pressure. Only gave up 2 sacks, by the way. His run blocking grade pretty decent as well. And then some of the stats here, also from PFF. 7 penalties, 10 pressures, 3 hits. And the key to me is that he only gave up 2 sacks here. And so I like his game. I think he's a safe pick. And I'm ecstatic that Cleveland would be able to land him here at number 6 in this mock draft. And remember, I showed you one recently where the Browns took Fano at 6, which I'd also be in on if he's the best available offensive lineman. But in this specific draft, Arizona takes him all the way up at number 3, and we get to land Mauigoa at 6. I'd totally be in on this. And you see the New England Patriots, happy post-Super Bowl day for everybody that celebrates. They made the Super Bowl with 2 rookie offensive linemen. They took Will Campbell with the 4th overall pick. Now, he had his struggles. And that's why I said maybe Mauigoa should be moved to guard, because Will Campbell clearly needs to be moved to guard. But my point being, that's how you build, that's how you succeed. And so I'm all in on Cleveland taking some rookie linemen here, making a splash in free agency to sign one as well, and that's the quickest path to success. So I like it, but like I said, I want to know your opinions in the comment section every time that I do a show here on the Browns Report. So you tell me, should the Browns draft Francis Mauigoa? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know down below what you think about this selection. Get a letter in the comments section for me, and I'll go through and see what the Browns fans are thinking. Notable selections. I won't go through every single pick in this mock draft here. We only really care about the Cleveland ones, but also these 5, I think. Note that Jordan Tyson goes pretty soon after, so he was available for the wide receiver folks for number 6. He goes 8 to the New Orleans Saints. The Dolphins get Ohio State product Caleb Downs, so he slips out of the top 10, but I think he's going to be a stud in the National Football League. Caleb Lamu and Vega Ioane, 2 offensive linemen I will be looking at, actually end up going before you get to pick 20, so keep that in mind here. And then finally, the Steelers are the ones to swing on Ty Simpson, the young quarterback out of Alabama. So when we get to the Cleveland Browns pick at 24, there's a name that didn't go there that would be an absolute steal if he falls to 24, folks. So that's what's coming up on the back half of today's show, and then also just some general talk here about what could get Cleveland to play in the Super Bowl, hopefully. That's what's on my mind. But first, we're going to give a special shout-out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Shoot your shot on Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, every board that much more exciting. So don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. I got the app. I've been playing it ever since. I've been picking the more on Luka every week, and he hasn't let me down. But make sure to check if Prize Picks is available in your state today. It probably is. They're available in 50 states. And Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Pick from all your favorite sports, anything from basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and more. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 sports picks app. Let's talk Cleveland basketball, folks. Playing Denver tonight. I like our new acquisition, James Harden, to go for more than 6.5 assists, and Jamal Murray more than 23.5 points. You can make lineups just like this one if you download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, for the Brownies now with the 24th pick, 2 first-rounders courtesy of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Cleveland Browns select Makai Lemon, wide receiver out of USC. That's right, the Athletic has him falling all the way down to pick 24, and that would be an absolute steal. He is a top 3 wide receiver in this draft class, according to every expert. Some people saying he might even be better than that. Here is what Baumgardner had to say about the pick for Cleveland. This could be too low for Lemon, whose combination of route, nuance, and ball skills remind me of fellow USC product Amon-Ra St. Brown. Lemon's size, 5'11", 195 pounds, is a bit of a concern, but he is this year's version of 7'11". He's always open, folks. A lot of people giving him Amon-Ra comparisons, which I love to hear. And I know some people may be concerned about size here, but I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Here's a scouting report on Makai Lemon. Snatches balls away from his body. Versatile, athletic, fierce, passionate, driven wide receiver. Works hard. 3rd in the nation in receiving yards. Also, he plays bigger than his size. Like, he'll go up and win more 50-50 balls than you think. Quick. Not necessarily blazing speed, but very quick, shifty. Watch some of his routes. Love what I see from Makai Lemon. I think he's going to make an impact in the NFL very quickly, and he's rising up in the ranks. Like I said, most people have him as a top 3 wide receiver. But I'm starting to hear rumblings now that he might be the best receiver product in the class. People are getting higher and higher on him, and if he does somehow fall to 24, that is a dream. Mel Kiper moved him all the way up to the 11th best player in the draft, player on his big board. What a steal that would be. And the more I think about it, I said I'm going to come back to this concept of his size, because I think we do need a receiver that just gets open, creates more separation than any other receiver in the draft. That's what's going to make this easiest on our quarterbacks. We need our guys wide open. We need our guys effort on every single play. Okay, Jerry Jeudy wasn't that last season. A lot of Shedor's best plays, helped when Fannin got open. These tight windows with not enough time, not going to work. And I said on a recent show, I love Denzel Boston. I love the idea of the big fella, 6'4", throw it up to him and 50-50 balls. But the more I consider the type of receiver that Cleveland needs, it might not be 50-50 balls. It might not be just chucking it up. It might be your first read's wide open. That's what's going to make it the easiest for our young quarterback. It would just be easier for everybody under center that we're trying to develop here. If you get a guy like Makai Lemon that creates that kind of separation, and boom, he's streaking open in the end zone. All you got to do is put it on him. He's doing the work. I think that could lead to the most explosives here for the Cleveland Browns offense, a guy that you can consistently target at wide receiver. We did not have that last season. So it's a dream for me. But you tell me your thoughts in the comment section. Do you like Makai Lemon for the Browns, or are you more into the idea of a taller receiver like a Denzel Boston? Get your thoughts in the comment section. Like I said, both have their pros and cons. I'm not saying I'm out on a guy like Denzel Boston. I love that pick for Cleveland too, and I feel like it's more realistic that Boston's available than Lemon is at this 24th overall. But as I think about the archetype of receiver that I want for the Cleveland Browns, I really think it is route running and creating space here that would work best for Shedeur and the Browns, like a guy that just makes it easy. I'm open. All you got to do is give it to me. You let me know your thoughts in that comment section. My final thoughts today, after the Super Bowl champion has been officially crowned and the season is over, folks, for everybody. The Super Bowl champ this year showed me something. Showed me you can win if you have everything around the quarterback. I don't want to say not necessarily a quarterback, but Sam Darnold is not necessarily a quarterback for a franchise quarterback for a team. And obviously, franchise quarterback is important. Obviously, that's never going to change in the NFL, that you got to go get your franchise quarterback. But the Seahawks showed me that if you have incredible coaching, Mike McDonald does, he calls plays on that defense, and his disguises, his rotations are unbelievable. He's a defensive mastermind. Coaching, elite defense, top wide receiver like JSN, and an offensive line. Got everything around the guy under center. You don't necessarily need the QB to do too much to win the Super Bowl. We actually saw that with the Philadelphia Eagles as well. They were stacked at every single position. Jalen Hurts was the weakest part of their football team when they won the Super Bowl a year ago. And so it makes me feel a little bit better here, because guess what? You look at the best quarterbacks in the league, they don't have a Super Bowl. Well, we'll exclude Patrick Mahomes because, he got hurt. He's one of a kind. But Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, never been to a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, never won a Super Bowl. Best quarterbacks in the league this year, Drake May, Matt Stafford, no Super Bowl for May. Obviously, Stafford finally got one. And they didn't win it this year. The Super Bowl champion quarterback was Sam Darnold. Why I bring this up, why am I saying this? In essence, it makes me feel more confident about my take that the Browns need to load up on offensive linemen and stick with the QBs that you got for this year. Okay? The draft doesn't have a great QB class. Load up on the system. Load up around the QB. We've got a new coach with an offensive line. I like it for Cleveland. Get protection. Get a receiver. Run this thing back with who you got. And then next year, if you don't like what Shedeur did, or Watson, or whoever, Then you can draft your quarterback. But I say that because you see now how imperative it is to have the offensive line figured out and the system here to win a Super Bowl in the National Football League. So get the linemen, make the right picks, Barry. That's what I'll have to say for today and today's show. You guys are awesome here, diehard Browns fans. Go ahead and follow me on all social media platforms. Over on X, I'm Joey070. I tweet a lot of fun stuff about the Brownies. We're also on Instagram and TikTok. A lot of fun short-form content and highlights on all these platforms. So appreciate it if you give me a follow, and I'll talk to you guys on there. And as always, hit that subscribe button. I've been your host, Joey O'Donohue, and let's crush this draft. Let's crush this offseason, guys. I want to be in that big game pretty soon. So appreciate you all. I'll see you later today.